So if you've seen some of our past videos, you understand that we've gone over how to approach situations when somebody's coming at you with a knife or a sharp object. So today we're actually going to start diving into some of those techniques, with our first one being somewhat of an uppercut with a knife. Now again, understand that there are a few things when it comes to this. I have to maintain and control the distance as much as possible. Whether I'm trying to break the distance or close the distance, I have to be the one that controls that. Second, I have to make sure that I'm protecting my arms and major arteries from the knife, so it changes somewhat how my body position is going to be when dealing with the situation compared to this person simply just throwing punches. Lastly, my focus is going to be isolating and attacking the arm that does carry the knife rather than worrying so much as what's going on with the rest of the body. I have to make sure that I'm controlling the knife while also damaging the body as much as I can, but I can't get distracted with anything else as much as possible until that knife is isolated. So let's go over the first technique again. This person's coming at you and they're doing an uppercut. Now understand that when they do this uppercut, it's not just going to be a one-time stab and the fight's over. This person's just going to get nice and close and just continually try and throw these strikes. Now, with the situation, let's just assume we're at this point. Person's already drawn the knife. They haven't attacked me with it yet. They simply hold in the knife with the upper hand. So again, depending on how he's holding the knife, I also understand that there's only, X, Y, and Z of attacks that he's able to do. And again, if he switches it to a different way, now I know that there's another set of attacks that he can do. So in this situation, I'm anticipating a certain angle and certain direction that this person's striking me. I understand that from this position, he's not able to do an overhand strike, so I don't have to worry about that. I understand that he can do a slash, he could do a jab, or he can do an uppercut. So that's kind of how I'm visualizing what's going to happen, and then obviously I'm going to have to just kind of react from there. Now, if I decide to keep my distance in this situation, I'm really just going to try and throw these kicks. Now, I may be able to land one or two unexpectedly, but then the next couple times I throw one, he may actually turn and try and cut the leg as it's coming down. So again, you have to kind of be wary with how you're approaching that, but it's not a bad idea to start when we're in this situation, just throw a couple kicks, and again, I'm keeping the distance. Now again, during this whole time, I'm focusing on this attacking arm. And at any point when I see either that he's about to strike or I see an opportunity for me to close the gap, I have to 100% commit. I have to get in there as quickly as I can. I have to get heavy and strong on that arm, and we'll go from there. So in this situation, he's throwing an uppercut. Again, it's starting to come down low. Now, when we're doing this situation, you have a couple options. Yes, I can come in and I can grab it down here. That's one option for technique. I'm only going to go over one technique today, so we're going to do a little bit of a different one. But again, just understand that this is a common 2-on-1 grab from here, but this isn't the one that we're going to go over today. So the one I'm going over today is going to be a downward palm press. Now, because of the issue with the veins, I can't just turn my hand down here right away, because if at any point I miss or he pulls the knife back, I risk cutting my arms, and again, that's going to put me in a life-threatening situation. So my palm is going to stay facing me until the last second, and right when I'm ready to press, that's when the hand turns over. Because now I know that the knife is no longer a threat to my hand anymore, and I can completely control this. Now, I can't just simply do this and sit back. I have to kind of do multiple things at once. So the same time that I'm doing this, my other hand is instantly throwing in a strike at the same time. Okay? Now, while this is all going on, just as a safety net, I'm also going to kind of suck my stomach back a little bit, not to the point where I'm jumping back, but merely just arching my stomach back a little bit so that for whatever reason, if it comes up a little bit higher until I'm able to stop it, I don't risk the chance of, if I'm standing straight up, of him actually making that contact. I have a little bit of extra room to deal with, and again, that keeps me a little bit safer. So this is going to be the initial entry point from here. Immediately following this, and I can't hesitate, I'm going to scoop underneath his arm. And again, this starts elevating his arm a little bit. It starts getting the knife away from my major arteries and the parts of my body that I'm actually really learning to, that I need to protect. And as I'm doing this, I'm also going to step in and close the distance. And again, I'm isolating this arm. So I've done that strike, I start scooping, and I'm going to come in nice and tight. Now notice, I've hooked his arm, I've pulled it close to my chest and shoulder, and I'm locking this as tight as I can. Now, even if he starts trying to cut, understand that if anything, he's just going to cut my shoulders. Yes, it still sucks. Yes, he's still cutting. He can't stab me. My neck's not a threat. My abdomen's not a threat. My arm's not a threat. So I'm, in regards to safety of major spots that he can damage, I'm completely safe at that point. Same time, though, that we've come in, I've grabbed his shoulder to allow myself to pull myself in tighter. Now we're in a good position. I've stepped close. Everything's locked up. Now from here, before I start focusing on this, I have to throw some other strike at this point. Now, normally I'm going to take this arm and really just throw an upper elbow either right to the throat or to the jawline. Again, it's a real quick, easy strike. I've already come in here, and it's a quick one for me to throw. Again, it's going to put a lot of pain on this person. If I manage to nick the throat dead on, yes, he might be sucking air, and there's a very good chance he may drop the knife because of the damage. So either way, make sure you throw this in. Now, we have two options from here. I can either work myself back towards him and isolate the knife this way, or we step in and isolate the knife that way. Either which way works. Again, this comes down to your preference, but let's cover over the two. So if I want to go with isolating it with both hands, once I've thrown in this strike, I'm going to step through and in front, so that way I can completely isolate this arm. Same time, this hand comes over the top, I'm switching to grab the wrist, and understand that I'm now locking my hands completely out. Now you can see how much he's off balance. So if he were to try and use this knife, not only does he have to fight my grip, but he also has to stand completely up to be able to use that knife. So this is a good position. Notice I am not bending over, I am not leaning over. Instead, I drop my hips and just get real heavy on this hand and completely isolate it from here. Obviously, from this situation, we can work on disengaging the knife completely, throwing in a strike if we need to, or simply just using that to disengage, and now I have the weapon in that situation. If for whatever reason you can't because this person's really strong and you're really struggling, then from this position, I'm just gonna focus on throwing strikes, either breaking the arm or simply just trying to disengage the knife in other manners to where I can just get in some strikes and just completely disengage the knife, or just keep the knife out of the way, throw strikes from that sense. That's just one option. If we want to go the other route and actually turn around into the person, again, I'm going to stay in this position, I'm keeping this hand locked, but now I'm actually going to turn this person over. So let's turn this way. I'm going to turn the person over again. I've got control of this arm. Not a position that I can sit and stay in here forever, but I am in a great position to start throwing in strikes and essentially break this person down. Now understand, even if he's grabbing this knife real tight, a couple of these strikes here to the head and to the far leg or the close leg, this person's not going to be holding on to this knife anymore. If they do, it's still something that I can easily disengage. I can throw in a counter strike, cuts, and again, we can disengage from there. So you do have a couple options, but again, understand that at full speed, you are talking milliseconds that you're going to be in this position. Again, it's not something that I'm sitting here waiting forever, because eventually, if this person does regain control, yes, I'm going to be in a lot bigger danger, or if they manage to grab around to my back, I'm going to be in a lot bigger situation, and now it's going to be harder for me to try and defend this in that sense. So understand altogether, when he does that cut, this is quick, whatever situation I want to go into, again, throwing strikes, break the arms, disengage, and we get out of the situation. So in any knife situation, whether it's this one or another one, it happens fast, I have to get control fast, and I have to 100% commit to the situation. But as long as you're able to isolate the arm that has the weapon, I don't necessarily have to worry about anything else at that point, because I do have control here. And again, as we've mentioned previously, this person is going to be more focused on trying to regain control here rather than trying to strike me. But again, just to be safe for my part, I will be constantly throwing strikes as I'm trying to disarm or break away this knife from this person. So when you're dealing with knives in general, it's fast. Just understand to stay calm, analyze the situation, keep your focus on the knife or whatever sort of object they have that's attacking you, and you're going to be just fine. Stay safe.